EZalert is made so that you can use machine learning for custom states or resolution states in Operations Manager. Now let's jump right into it and I'll show you how it works. Let's take the scenario that we want to automatically restart a couple of services for certain servers, and we don't want to restart or automatically restart that particular service for other hosts. So let me show you what I mean. We have a couple of services here which we can stop or start. So let's say that we have all these services on two different hosts. So we have WinHost01 and we have WinHost02, and we have the same services running on all of these both these servers or hosts, as you will, because well, they're just for demo purposes. So let's go ahead and stop these services. What we see in Operations Manager is that we'll see a lot of alerts coming by. If we refresh the screen a couple of times, we should see them coming in. Okay, so we'll refresh the screen a few more times, and we'll see that on the WinHost02, the MySQL 5.6 service is stopped, which is in a new resolution state, and also the Exchange Transport service, the Exchange Client Access service, and on the WinHost01, the MySQL 5.6 service has stopped running as well. So this is what we expected because we manually stopped all these services. So let's go to EZalert. EZalert we can go to by going to the URL localhost 9000 if you run it locally, or whichever host you're running it on. So if we go to training, new alerts, we see all these alerts which you see in the operations console. We see these in EZalert. Now at this moment they're inconclusive because no prediction can be made because we did not enter any training data. But let's say that for the WinHost01.contoso.com we don't want to restart the service, but we want to train it to the resolution state. Let's take the MySQL group, and if we look at the MySQL 5.6 on the WinHost02, we'd like to restart this automatically, so we'll start training this as auto restart. So there we go. And when you have at least two training points in your training data, then it will start making predictions. Now, where do these resolution states come from? Well, if we go to the Operations Manager console and we go to Administration, we go to Settings and Alerts, then we can see we have resolution states here, and we can make the custom ones. So here we have the MySQL group, we have the Exchange group, but we also have the Auto Restart group. So I'll cancel this out because we have the groups we want anyway. Go back to monitoring. Now let's go back to this console. As we can see, we can do a bit more training because we have the SAP HANA service on the WinHost02, and it's set to auto restart, but we might find that a nuisance. We don't want to auto restart this service. We just want to assign it to the SAP HANA group. So we'll train it as that, and all of a sudden we see that a lot of things are predicted to be in the SAP HANA group. So let's continue to train EZalerts a little bit more. We see Oracle instance for SAP. Well, I think we want to train this as Oracle. So let's put this in the Oracle group. And let's see Exchange Client Access. Maybe we want to train or auto restart the Exchange Client Access service, but we don't want to auto restart for some reason. Maybe we want an engineer to have a look at it. We don't want to auto restart the Exchange Transport service, so we'll just assign that to the Exchange group. So what you can see now is the predicted resolution state becomes more accurate the more training data or the more training points we put in. So we see that SAP HANA is actually in the SAP HANA group. The Oracle instance for SAP or SAP goes to the Oracle group, Exchange and Exchange. We want to auto restart the Exchange access service manually. Critical test alert is still in the Exchange group. Maybe that needs a little bit more training. So let's do that. We'll go to assign to engineering for the critical training. So we can see that virtual machine VMware tool status. Well, we don't want to assign that to engineering. We want to assign that to the VMware group. So we'll do that. And we can see that, after a bit of training, all these things that become more accurate, even alerts that we've never trained before or seen before. So if we look here, last Oracle control file backup is older than 999 hours. We can see that this is already assigned to the Oracle group. And the ops DB free space is low is assigned to engineering. So we could train this a bit more in that respect. Now, when we look at training, we looked at the new alerts view right now. So we see the new alerts coming in. But if we look at the trained alerts, we see the alerts we've been training so far. And right now, we've only trained something like 8 alerts, and actually the prediction results are pretty accurate. So if you look at EZalert on a whole, it's pretty much like a trainee who's just coming into a service desk in a company and has to assign different resolution states from alerts to different resolution groups, or teams. You have your SQL team, Oracle team, Exchange team, and so on. So it's all very nice that we've trained this and we can put this into new resolution groups, but what can we actually do with this? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that in Operations Manager, the resolution state can be set to a particular state, which is actually quite useful if you're using channels in Operations Manager. So you have your notification channels so that the correct person will actually be notified about the correct incident. So that's one use of it. Another use of it would be that you can actually assign something like a closed state to alerts. So if there are alerts which keep on popping up and you had some issues with these alerts before and they've become nuisance alerts or false positives, then you can just assign them a closed state and they'll be closed automatically by EZalert. Now, one of the most useful things EZalert does is you can assign an action, and this is a post action, so it happens afterwards, to a particular resolution state. So what we can do is we can add a particular action we want to execute if some resolution state is met, and we can say auto restart service. So I'll put that in here. We'll add a description, which would be this action auto restarts a service. We'll take the resolution state auto restart, obviously, and we'll get the script name, C program files, Opslogix, EZalert, action scripts, start Windows service .ps1. Okay. So let's take a look at this script before we really jump into it. The script is in program files, Opslogix, and then EZalerts, and then action scripts. And let's edit the script. So when we're looking at this script, the first parameter it takes is the host name, and the second is the service name. So if we parse in the host name, for example, winhost01, and we parse in the service name MySQL 5.6 for the service, then what it'll do, it'll get the service name, the computer name, and set the service state to running. So basically it'll start the service again if it crashed. Okay, so let's fill in the parameters. We'll go back to EZalert and we'll add a parameter. So we'll take the first parameter of the script, which is host name. I'll just copy and paste this into there. So this is the host name, and we'll take the alert property, and we'll take the principal name because that's pretty much the computer name. We'll add another parameter, which will be the service name. So copy and paste that again. Paste that in here. And I know for this alert that the name just corresponds with the service name anyway of the alert. So we've got everything filled in here. So we'll do the substitution with the parameters. We'll click save. And then as you can see, it's saved here, and we have the post-action auto restart service. All right. So you might have seen that in the actions menu, we also have pre-actions. Pre-actions are actually things that are always executed on alerts, and maybe if you want to add some extra data to your alert to use later on in a post-action. But we won't go into that in this demo. So before EZalert starts doing anything to alerts, we have to go into settings and go to general settings, auto apply. So what does that mean? Auto apply means that whenever a new alert comes into Operations Manager, it'll take a look at it and see what criteria it has and do a prediction, and then automatically put that alert into a particular resolution state. So let's go ahead and try that. So we'll set this to on, and we can use a probability threshold, but we'll talk about that later. So we'll save this, that it's on, and we'll go back to Operations Manager. Now all the services that I showed you that I stopped earlier on, I started again to get rid of all the alerts because they're alerts from monitors. But let's go ahead and stop these services again. So we'll run the stop all services script again on both hosts. I'll go ahead and do that. And if we wait a little while, then we'll see these alerts appear again. So here the alerts appear again. And we can see they're less than a minute old. And what we see here is the MySQL service appearing on the WinHost 02. And we should see it appear on the WinHost 01 as well. Now the thing about that is that we actually added a restart service to that. So on the WinHost 01, we should see that it's still stopped, because we didn't add the auto start script to that, or didn't train it to do that. And if we go to the MySQL service on, we're looking at the local service, sorry. On the second server, we can see it's running because it actually restarted the service for us. So we can confirm that this actually happened in EZalert. So let's go back to EZalert and go back to new alerts. And we can see that the MySQL alert, which is here, was actually predicted to go to the resolution state MySQL group, and which is on the WinHost 01. So that was assigned that resolution state. And if we look here, WinHost MySQL, we can actually see that the resolution state is now MySQL group. Similarly, if we check for MySQL on the WinHost 02, we see that we actually wanted to auto restart this. So if you go back to SCOM, we can correspond this with the WinHost 02, and let's look for MySQL. Well, there is no MySQL. I think it would be closed actually, because it is actually restarted. So you can also see this action in EZalert itself, because it keeps logs of everything it does. So if we go to actions, we can see that we had a couple of recovery tasks, and we can see that this recovery task actually ran for the Exchange Client Access Service, which we trained like that as well for the MySQL 5.6. And also, let's see, to the Exchange Client Access Service on the WinHost 02. So there you go. This is a very easy way of actually managing your alerts to go to different channels in your environment, or to actually do a fair bit of automation in your environment. So I hope you'll try it. Thank you very much.